Chapter 19. The next day, there was another event at Longbourn. Collins formally declared his suitors. He resolved to do so without delay, as his leave was due to expire the following Saturday, and, having full confidence in his success, he undertook the task methodically and with all the formalities he considered necessary in such cases. Shortly after breakfast, he found Mrs. Bennet, Elizabeth, and one of the younger daughters together and addressed the mother with these words: "May I hope, madam, given your interest in your beautiful daughter Elizabeth, that I may be granted the honor of a private interview with her sometime this morning." Before Elizabeth had time for anything other than to blush with surprise, Mrs. Bennet replied instantly, "Oh, my dear, of course. I am sure Elizabeth will be delighted and will have no objection. Come, Kitty, I need you upstairs." Gathering her work, she hurried to leave them alone. Elizabeth called after her, saying, "Mother, my dear, don't go. I beg you, don't go. Mr. Collins will excuse me, but he has nothing to say to me that everyone can't hear. I'm the one who's leaving." "No, don't be silly, Lizzie. Stay where you are." And seeing that Elizabeth, displeased and angry, was about to leave, she added, "Lizzie, I order you to stay and listen to Mr. Collins." Elizabeth could not disobey such a command. For a moment, she reconsidered and thought it wiser to end the whole thing as quickly and peacefully as possible. She sat down again and tried hard to hide, on the one hand, her discomfort, and on the other, how amused she was by this the matter. Mrs. Bennet and Kitty left, and then Collins began. "Believe me, my dear Miss Elizabeth, your modesty, far from being a detract from you, only adds to your other perfections. I would have found you less endearing had you not shown this slight resistance. But let me assure you that your mother has given me permission for this interview. You must already know the purpose of my speech, though your natural delicacy may lead you to conceal it. My intentions have been made too clear to be misleading. Almost the moment I set foot in this house, I chose you as my future life partner. But before I express my feelings, it might be advisable for me to explain my reasons for wanting to marry, and why I came to Hertfordshire with the intention of finding a wife right here." Elizabeth almost laughed at the thought of him expressing his feelings, and he could not take advantage of the brief pause she made to stop him from going further. Collins continued, "The reasons I have for marrying are, first, that the duty of a clergyman in favorable circumstances such as mine is to set an example of marriage in his parish. Second, that I am convinced that this will contribute powerfully to my happiness. And third, something I perhaps should have noted first, which is the particular advice and recommendation of the most noble lady whom I have the honor of calling my patroness. Twice she has deigned to point this out to me, even without my having suggested it, and on Saturday night, before I left Hunsford and during our game of quadruple table, while Mrs. Jenkinson was arranging Miss Deborah's saddle, she said to me, 'Mr. Collins, you must marry. A clergyman such as yourself should be married. Choose well. Choose with me and yourself in mind. See that she is an active and useful person, not highly educated, but capable of making good use of a small income. This is my advice. Find this woman as soon as possible. Bring her to Hunsford, and let me see her. Allow me, by the way, to tell you, beautiful cousin, that I consider it the greatest advantage I can offer you to know and enjoy the charms of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Her manners will seem far superior to anything I can describe, and your liveliness and wit will seem very acceptable to her, especially when tempered by the discretion and respect that your high rank inevitably demands. This is all regarding my general intentions in favor of marriage. I have nothing more to say than the reason why I went directly to Longbourn instead of looking in my own town, where, I assure you, there are many charming young ladies. But the fact is that, being the heir to Longbourn upon the death of your honorable father, whom I hope will live many years, I would not be satisfied if I did not choose a wife from among his daughters, to lessen as much as possible the loss they will suffer when such a sad event occurs, which, as I have already told you, I hope will not happen for many years. This has been the reason, fair cousin, and I hope it will not diminish my esteem in your eyes. And now I have nothing more to say but to express to you, with the most emphatic words, the strength of my affection. As for your dowry, it is completely irrelevant to me, and I will not ask your father for anything that I know he cannot fulfill. So you will have to contribute no more than the £1,000 at 4% that will be due to you upon your mother's death. But I will not be demanding, and you can be certain that no self-serving reproach will pass my lips once we are married." It was absolutely necessary to interrupt him immediately. "You are going too fast," exclaimed Elizabeth. "You forget that I haven't answered you yet." let me do so without further ado. I appreciate your consideration and the honor your proposal represents, but I cannot help but reject it. I know full well, replied Collins with a grave gesture of his hand, that it is very common among young women to reject the proposals of a man whom they secretly intend to accept, when he asks for their favor for the first time, and that the refusal is repeated a second or even a third time. Therefore, what you have just told me does not discourage me at all, and I hope to take you to the altar soon. Good heavens, sir, exclaimed Elizabeth. I don't know what hope you have left after my reply. I assure you I am not one of those women, if such women exist, so reckless as to risk their happiness on the chance of being asked a second time. My refusal is quite serious. I could not make myself happy, and I am convinced that I am the last woman in the world who could make you happy. What's more, if your friend Lady Catherine knew me, I have the feeling she would think me, in every respect, the least suitable for you. If it were true that Lady Catherine thought so, said Collins with the greater gravity, but I am sure your ladyship would approve, and believe me, when I have the honor of seeing you again, I will speak to you in the most complimentary terms of your modesty, your thrift, and your other fine qualities. Please, Mr. Collins, all the praise you bestow upon me will be unnecessary. Let me judge for myself and grant me the honor of believing what I tell you. I wish you every happiness and great wealth, and by refusing your hand, I do all in my power to ensure that it is not otherwise. By making me this proposal, you must consider the delicacy of your feelings toward my family satisfied, and when the time comes, you may take possession of the Longbourn estate without any pang of conscience. Therefore, let us consider this matter definitively settled. As she finished saying this, she rose and was about to leave the room when Collins pressed her again. The next time I have the honor of speaking to you about this matter again, I hope to receive a more favorable reply than you have given me now, though I am far from believing you are cruel to me, for I know that it is an incorrigible custom of women to reject men the first time they declare their affections, and perhaps you have said all this only to make my request more convincing, as befits the true delicacy of the feminine character. Really, Mr. Collins, Elizabeth exclaimed somewhat heatedly, you confuse me greatly. If you interpret everything I have said so far as an encouragement, I don't know how to express my repulsion so that you will be completely convinced. You must let me presume, my dear cousin, that your rejection was only lip service. The reasons I have for believing this are the following. I do not believe that my hand is undeserving of your acceptance, nor that the position I offer you is not highly desirable. My situation in life, my relationship with the Borg family, and my kinship with you are important circumstances in my favor. Consider, moreover, that despite your many charms, it is not certain that you will receive another marriage proposal. Your fortune is so meager that it will, unfortunately, negate the effects of your beauty and good qualities. Therefore, since I cannot deduce from all this that you acted sincerely in rejecting me, I will choose to attribute it to your desire to heighten my love with suspense in accordance with the customary practice of elegant women. I assure you, sir, that I find it utterly unseemly to torment a respectable man. I would prefer you to do me the favor of believing me. I thank you 1,000 times over for the honor you have bestowed upon me with your proposal, but it is absolutely impossible for me to accept it. My feelings, in every respect, prevent me. Can one speak more clearly? Do not consider me as an elegant woman who intends to torture you, but as a rational being who speaks what she feels with all her heart. She is always charming, he exclaimed with crude gallantry. I have no doubt that my proposal will be accepted once it is sanctioned by the authority of your excellent parents. Faced with such a determination to deceive himself, Elizabeth did not reply and left at once without a word, resolved that, should Collins persist in considering her repeated refusals as a frivolous system of encouragement, she would appeal to her father, whose rejection would be phrased in such a way as to be unappealable and whose attitude, at least, could not be mistaken for the affectation and coquetry of an elegant lady.